This is Comet Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Good evening, Jason Glick. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, John. It's pretty good, actually.
Well, yeah, we're in the. Hey, this is. We're recording on February 1st. Tomorrow's Groundhog Day, and hope none of you get caught in that loop like Bill Murray did. So.
It's terrible, but hey, if you do, you'll emerge as a better person afterwards.
Absolutely, you will. Try to learn a language in one of those loops, huh? Anyway, so what do you have on the plate for us tonight, sir?
Okay, well, last time was the Best of 2015 podcast, and I hope you enjoyed all that. But, prior to the Best of 2015 podcast, I went and ordered a bunch of stuff from Amazon that basically, I had seen a bunch of best of lists going around the net from various sites and personalities that I respect. And so I figured, hey, you know what? I should go ahead and check this stuff out to see if it's worthy of being on my list. So I can say it was worthwhile in the sense that one of these titles actually did wind up on my list, and so that was cool. But what about the rest of them? It's like even if they weren't, what I consider best of 2015 material, were they actually any good? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. So, starting with the title that actually did make it on my best of 2015 list, that was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This is a story of a monster girl, who is the title character, who teams up with the sensible villain of the realm, a guy by the name of Lord Ballister Blackheart, who is who is a villain with a vendetta. So it's out to avenge the the wrong that was done to him by Sir Goldenloin. It's like in a jousting match years ago. They used to be good friends, but after this, the treachery enacted to him that he believes that was enacted to him during this match. It's like he became a villain, and now it's like, and he's basically spent his time tormenting the realm, trying to expose why the rulers are such bad people and all. And Nimona, well, she shows up at his place one day and says, "Hey, you're the villain." It's like, and I want to hook up with you. I want to help you usurp this the order going on right here. And she's a shapeshifter, someone who can turn into any monster or person available. The series sounds like it's going to be a fun little reversal of fortunes here. It's like you got the villains who are the protagonists fighting against these little good guys. It's like who are they're running the show, but they're not quite the good guys. I mean, Goldenloin, it's he's kind of arrogant. He's arrogant. He's kind of a bit of self-absorbed, but he's also working for the working for the people running the show, and he's just their poster boy while they just do the stuff that needs to be done behind the scenes. As things go on, things start to read themselves as being not so cut and dry. I mean, on Blackheart, it's he's set up to be the stereotypical bad guy. It's he's got really good reasons for why he became what he is and why he did what he did. And Nimona, it's even though she starts off as being cute, maybe using person who individual who usurps inserts herself into Blackheart's life. It's just gonna be the fun person who shows to lighten up and just get to appreciate life and all. Well, it turns out that she's got some pretty dark secrets in her past as well. And Sir Goldenloin, well, he's meant to be the good guy, and he's kind of he's meant to, as the reported hero. He's also kind of a dick as well, but he realizes that the people who are backing him don't have the best of intentions, and that thing he did to Blackheart years ago that set him on his path. Well, he's still not actually sure whether or not he's actually responsible for that. It's where he actually was truly jealous of his friend's abilities, or if it was just an honest accident. There's a wonderful complexity here. And it's sprinkled with humor. So much throughout the story, to the point where even though the story gets into some really dark territory at the end, when Nimona's true abilities start start to manifest itself and go out of her control. It's like it's still it still managed to be it's like really entertaining and it's like and interesting. It's like it's starts off as being one thing and then goes off to being something more. It's like more interesting and more compelling as well. It's like like I said, it's the reason why it went up on my best of list. Once it's the best kind of fairy tale, something that appears harmless and fun on the surface, yet it conceals some really dark and interesting themes like underneath. So really, it's like I should probably go out and buy some of Lumberjanes, the series that Stevenson illustrated and co-wrote. But still, whatever she does after, whatever her next big project after Nimona is, it's like you can sure as hell bet that I'm gonna be there. Now, moving on to the stuff that that I picked up. Well, it's kind of a mixed bag for reasons that it's like that aren't really obvious, at least. And I'm going to start off with one that I'm still kind of on the fence about. That would be Terror Assaulter, Umwat, One Man War on Terror, by Benjamin Mara, published by Fantagraphics. It's basically a parody of it's like of your average action movie involving it's like a guy in a suit with glasses whose catchphrase is "Let's just say da 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 da," who basically goes on fighting against the war on terror, like as after he was selected by as a terror assaulter by George W. Bush after 9/11. It's the dialogue here is purposely on point to the point where like you have like bits where he says like I'm going like characters who saying you chopped my neck, I'm choking. It's like he kicked our hands. Never mind, die. Time's up. Your deal is over. It's like just really on the nose dialogue. Basically, kind of like on one hand, yeah, it's dumb, but at the same time, it's like Mara is kind of stripping the whole action movie conceit down to its bare essentials to the point where like you look at this and it's like every major action movie kind of has the same style as well. What it doesn't have though is a whole lot of like hardcore sex, both guy on girl and guy on guy as well. So yeah, he's kind of like trolling you in this. On one hand, you could say that he's trolling you in the sense that saying, hey, you're not really you sure you like your action movies, but hey, do you actually like hardcore penetration? Do you like dicks going in pussies? Oh yeah. What about how dicks going in asses as well? What about dicks going in guys' asses? Huh? So I'm still not entirely sure whether or not this is actually a brilliant satire or just a brilliant trolling effort on Mara's part, just to get us to think that this is actually something more than what it actually is. The author portrait at the end kind of suggests that it's more the latter, but it's like if you like really I can tell you this, if you like really dumb stuff, like if you like Zoolander and stuff, or like the Coen Brothers purposely dumb comedies, Terror Assaulter definitely might be up your bag. Also from Fantagraphics is a graphic novel called Black River from Josh Simmons. This is the story of it's like a group of women. It's like two dogs and one guy who just found himself with them, as they try to make their way in a post-apocalyptic landscape. It starts off with them finding a nice cache of booze, weapons, and clean socks, and then follows them to the end where they try and murder a bunch of decent people in order to try and get their stuff and feel human again. When I heard about this, I thought the whole post-apocalyptic approach sounded interesting, and some people were saying, "Hey, this is like even more oppressive than and downbeat than The Walking Dead." And well, yeah, it really is, because Simmons really drives home like the dehumanizing effects. It's like what happens when you lose civilization, when there is no law and order. I mean, you're just going to just kill people in endlessly brutal ways in order to survive, and also just because hey they just told they told you some really dumb jokes at a it's like at this whack ass stand-up competition. So it's like yeah, so on one hand, Simmons does succeed in showing it's like a completely pitiless and despondent um world, and it's like for people like me who've played Fallout and have ever wondered, just how do those raiders wind up being the crazy ass, we're gonna murder you on sight, her, kind of characters. Well, Black River actually provides a pretty good explanation, but still, it honestly left me in the end it left me wanting more. Like he like the characters in the world he set up were just interesting enough to make me wonder, well, what did happen to make this world? What did happen in the 12 years that passed from the beginning of the volume to the end? It's like I wanted to know more, and well, it works as a it's like as a kind of like a pitiless tone poem to show you the merciless nature of the post-apocalypse and what the lack of civilization does to people. I'll still take The Walking Dead because it's still like it's at this point it's still showing you like people fighting back from that end and just trying to like forge out a new civilization from the ashes of the old. It's like Black River is a celebration of of cynicism, well done for it, but not quite what I was hoping for. Like in the end, it's like if Simmons ever wants to revisit this stuff, then I'll definitely be on board for that. See, next up is Killing and Dying by Adrian Tomine. Tomine is kind of like, well, if he was a filmmaker, he'd be like the darling of the art house circuit, for lack of a better term. But in comics, though, it's like he's actually managed to carve out a really successful niche for himself, as showing like really like kind of downbeat and idiosyncratic stories about life's ordinary people. But still, it's like I heard about him for years. I never actually gotten around to reading some of his stuff until a friend of mine picked up his book about his graphic novel Shortcomings about like a misanthropic Asian man named Ben Tanaka, and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna go and read this and think, okay, it's like I heard good things about it, but it's kind of like it's gonna be the kind of thing where it's kind of like medicine. Like, hey, you read this, you appreciate the technique and craft in it, but it's something you're gonna want to go and read a second time and all. Well, to be honest, after reading Killing and Dying, I kind of want to go and read Shortcomings again, because the thing I like about Shortcomings was that for all, its hero or protagonist, Ben Tanaka, was a real misanthrope. There's also a bunch of really genuinely funny stuff mixed in with misanthropy. It's like and the and the character drama as well. Like this is a series that while Ben is like dealing with the distance that he's growing to him and his girlfriend, also finds times for jokes like, hey, what separates like Asian men from Caucasian men? The cock. Yeah, this is from a guy who's like the darling of the art house circuit for comics. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that resonates with me. There wasn't anything like that in Killing and Dying, which is a collection of 6 stories from his from various anthologies, and they do show like his amazing skill with the form, like the original, like the story that kicks off the collection, Hortisculpture, which is framed as a it's like it was framed in the same way as like newspaper comics are. It's like four panels on a regular day, and then you get like a nice 12 panel thing on Sunday. But it's all framed in the sense telling a very downbeat story about a guy who hits upon this idea that, hey, it's like, what if I start doing sculpture that also double as gardening as well? And it also, but it's kind of like like a really fancy chia pet, and how his dogged pursuit of this form of art until he realizes that it's just not going to work anymore. So it's really interesting. So it's really interesting to observe the the clash, like the stylistic clash between essentially funny part of the like the newspaper funnies structure, but with the downbeat um story content that he's provided here. So it's so yeah, but then that's kind of like holds true for the rest of the it's like for the rest of the stories as well. But I mean, there's amazing technique, but it's like you can appreciate this, but it's also really gonna bum you out in the end. So I mean, like the stories are still pretty interesting. Since the second one that follows basically is called Amber Sweet and involves a woman who finds out that she looks remarkably like a woman on a porn site, on an internet porn site, and winds up just like having to deal with the fact that like all the men in her life basically revolve around that to some extent, and the length she goes to in order to it's like it's like in order to get away from that, right up until the end when she actually meets Amber Sweet. So it's so that out of all the ones here, that was probably my favorite though, because it's just a nice. Hey, it's like what if this actually is something that actually happened before? Huh, pretty interesting. Then you Go Owls also hinges on a this is something like this that actually happened. It basically involves a woman like who's kind of low on self esteem, meets a guy at a it's like an AA meeting. They hook up together, and it looks like they're kind of like two lost souls who found each other until you realize that this is a story about just how some guys can just control them and possess them. It's like even though they're kind of like scumbags as well. It's like you really see how these character types, how the guy can be both really fun, it's like and even kind of charming, but also like really domineering as well, and also how the woman can just like fall underneath his control too. So then what follows is say translated from the Japanese. It's like a series of panels never actually show the protagonists, but convey the like like the it's like the uncertainty and unease that comes with moving from like from one country to another, and it's not something that really has that really gets you until the very end when it's like when the narrator finally expresses that like I came this like after this trip I came this close to breaking. It's like after arriving in the U.S. So it's interesting, but not something that really hits you until the end. The title story, "Killing and Dying," is also pretty interesting as well. It's like in the sense that it's about two like a parent some parents who and their daughter who don't her daughter the daughter doesn't know what she wants to do but decides to you know like enroll in a in like a comedy course at a local community college. And at first it seems like she's finally found what she wants to do, but then there are some complications, and it turns out that maybe that's not quite it. And then when she tries to go and do it herself by herself, it's like well, the story is called Killing and Dying. You kill on stage, then you die. It's it's really this is a really overt simplification of the it's like of what's going on here, but it's like it's like at the same time it doesn't also be about what role your parents play in this, whether or not do you like you need their do you really need their encouragement and sympathy in order to stand up simply do it do it by yourself. It's like, or do you have to go and just try and survive on your own. It's like this is one that compared to shortcomings, it's the most overtly comic of this, but at the same time it's like, well, it's got some genuine comic bits. It's also got some really uneasy parts as well, parts where it's like, hey, it's like at one point where the jokes that the daughter tells early on are really funny when she tries at the improv. Oh man, the way Tomini phrases these in these what are these 20 panel pages, Um, it's just achingly painful to see her die up on stage. And so, yeah, that's impressive that he's able to convey this. But at the same time, it's like, God damn, this will ruin your day. Um, at the end, though, is Intruders, which is a homage to a creator that to me I really liked, Yoshihiro Tatsumi, and it's an it's an effective like homage if you're familiar with Tatsumi's style about a guy who like who observes a it's like how like an apartment each day and starts to believe that it's his, then tries to interact with it in ways that are both violent, it's like violent and helpful in the end. So it's interesting from a stylistic point, but it's like I'm as I'm reading it, I'm also reminded of Carl Horn's assessment of Tatsumi's work in the sense that manga is supposed to be fun, except for works by Yoshihiro Tatsumi, not so much. But it's so I mean, killing and dying, you can. It's easy to respect the craft in here and 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 admire Tomina's work. It's something that I'm probably going to go and read again. That's debatable, but yeah, I do. It does make you actually want to go out and actually buy Shortcomings for my own collection again. But last up on the list is a series that is the one comic that I was most considering adding to the list, and that would be Shaft by David Walker and Bilquis Everly. And when you ask me, Shaft, being like the black exploitation hero, damn right I'm talking about Shaft. It's like this is basically an origin story for Shaft, subtitled "A Complicated Man," that takes you from his days back when he was just back from Nam, boxing to like because he wanted to fight, he wanted to hit someone. It's like and like the and after like falling out because of the because he was ordered to throw the fight, but he didn't, and now he's trying to find a new work, and he settles into the job of private investigator. He also winds up getting a new girl, and this girl is subsequently killed, and now he's trying to figure out he's supposed to know like why she was killed, and why and why all these Italians, these Harlem gangsters and civic organizers, it's like all want this one. It's like all want this woman and the information that she has. So it's a great solid story, and Walker's take on Shaft is fantastic. I regrettably have not seen any Shaft movie, including the '70s originals with Richard Roundtree or the remake with Samuel L. Jackson. But god damn if reading this didn't make me glad that Walker is currently working on a sequel through Dynamite. It's a great complicated private investigator story, and he makes Shaft into a hero who, even if he doesn't have all the answers to the first, he's the kind of guy who knows how to get them either by just knowing just the right words to say, or just the right punches to throw. It's like this is a lot of fun, and yeah, it's like even if there are some like conventional bits with hey, like his girl gets fridged, and it's like all, but it's still like a really thoroughly entertaining PI story, and well, it's not. I guess it doesn't really amount to much at this point, but I guess I can say that Shaft probably would have been number 11 on my list. So there you go. That's like it's like out of all the stuff that I bought to try and get on my best of 2015 list. Well, Nimona was really close. Nimona made it on there. Shaft really close. Everything else, well, not bad. Well, I guess depending on how you read Terror Assaulter, I guess you could either think this is like a brilliant satire or the dumbest fucking thing you've ever read. So there you go. Like I said, Nimona and Chef get props. Everything else, well, your mileage may vary. John, any thoughts on your end about all this stuff?
So this is your addendum, essentially, to the last podcast we had, right?
It is my addendum as opposed to the addendum that I did after the after listening to the top 10.
Okay, cool. So, do you know what you're going to talk about next time? Have
Uh,
anything on in the idea factory there?
well, depending on whether or not Volume 6 of Mind Management ships either next week. If not, if Volume 6 of Mind Management ships next week, then it's going to be a podcast on that.
Mhm.
If it doesn't, then well, I'll think of something.
Suspense, ladies and gentlemen, suspense. And
Yes.
with that, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Laters.
Bye.